Hey guys, what's up? Plastic Guy here, coming back with another figure review where today we're going to be taking a closer look at what could be the rarest ToyBiz Raimi movie trilogy figure that we've taken a closer look at on the channel so far.
Oh boy, yeah.
The figure I'm talking about is the 3.75-inch Magnetic Spider-Man movie figure from the Train Battle playset. This figure seemed to swung past my radar for the longest time because I don't recall ever seeing him. Now looking at some stock images, I do feel like a couple years ago I probably scrolled past him on the likes of every Raimi figure ever on Instagram and then just completely forgot about him because I've never seen this guy pop up on eBay. That is until at least a couple weeks ago because I was scrolling and I was like, what is that? Because it looked like a Magnetic Spider-Man, but the sculpt was all wrong. And then I was like, is that 3.75-inch scale? Because I didn't even realize they made any Raimi Trilogy 3.75-inch figures. So I instantly sent the picture to a couple of my Instagram friends and they told me exactly what it was and they were like, you should probably pick that up. So 3-4 days later, I won him on auction for £8 altogether. I'm absolutely buzzing. He's just arrived and we need to take a closer look at this guy. Because as I said, he might be the rarest Raimi Trilogy figure that we've taken a look at. We've looked at the Scooter, the Magnetic, the Web Trap, but those are all figures that seem to be popping up on eBay quite frequently now. And this is the first one of its kind I've ever seen on eBay. So before we jump into the video, let me know down in the comments section below what Raimi figure I should look out for next. Is there any that I've not taken a look at so far that you really want to see? Let me know down below. And while you're down there, if you could do me a massive favour, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And let's not wait any longer. Let's take a closer look at this 3.75-inch scale Magnetic Spider-Man from the Train Battle playset. And here is our Train Battle playset Magnetic Spider-Man figure as he's arrived from eBay. And first off, I just want to see how tall this guy is standing. It looks to me that he's standing around that 4-inch mark, which I knew he was a 3.75-inch figure, but getting this guy in hand, he is tiny. I mean, he looks minuscule. 3.75-inch figures always throw me off when I order them online because I know they're going to be small, but it's really hard to gauge a sense of scale when you're just looking at one-off photos. And when I opened this guy up out of the box, I couldn't believe it how tiny he actually is. So for that reason, to try and get a better sense of how small he is, we're going to do the comparisons at the start of the video. And here he is standing next to the 6-inch ToyBiz Magnetic Spider-Man. It's crazy to see the difference in a figure that's scaled up just by 2 inches. The proportions of this figure here are tiny, but as we'll see later on in the video, they have not lacked on the detail. And let's just see what he's like next to some other Spideys. Here is our movie Spider-Man next to a more comic looking 3.75-inch Spider-Man. And yeah, the articulation is pretty similar, but the level of detail with this sculpt just keeps surprising me, and it's so obvious when you look at him next to this comic looking Spider-Man. And then we have our ToyBiz 3.75-inch Spidey next to the Hasbro Spider-Man 3 5-inch scale movie line. And I've had plenty to say on these Hasbro figures in the past. I recently made a Spider-Man 3 collection video, so feel free to check that out. And it's safe to say I'm fairly harsh on these figures because I'm always comparing them to the Spider-Man 2 6-inch scale ToyBiz movie figures. And I always kind of give them a pass because I've said, like, it's in the 5-inch scale, so it's harder to give detail and it's harder to give articulation. And then now I've got this ToyBiz 3.75-inch figure, which is got more points of articulation, and I would argue the sculpt is just so much better. Just the proportions look better, the raised webbing and everything's just so sleek. ToyBiz takes the cake once again. And now let's get up close and personal with this ToyBiz figure to really just show how great it is. So when I first came across this listing on eBay, it really threw me off because just looking at him in a photo with no other figures around, I thought this was a 6-inch scale ToyBiz. I mean, the proportions are really similar, but it wasn't until I noticed just a lack of articulation that I realised that this wasn't the usual 6-inch Magnetic Spider-Man, and I thought maybe it was a custom, and then I sent the pictures away to some of my Instagram friends, and no, they told me this was a 3.75 inch figure, and it's still kind of hard to believe. I mean, the sculpt is really, really similar to the 6-inch scales, but it's of course scaled right down, but you just never realise on camera because, I mean, it's really not lacking in detail. The head sculpt looks excellent. Yeah, the lines look a bit wobbly around the eyes compared to the likes of a 6-inch ToyBiz, as we can see here. Looking at the 6-inch, it's definitely a lot crisper, a lot cleaner, but not by much. It looks great. I really like the silver webbing, although there is a lot of bleeding over. It's an older figure, of course, but looking at the back of the head, that is clean. Yeah, there's no complaints there. Even looking at the top of the neck, where those lines get really tight in, there's no bleeding there. That looks absolutely excellent. All the webbing on the back there. The back logo looks amazing. Yeah, I love the back logo of the Raimi suit, and they have definitely not slacked on this smaller 3.75 inch figure. I mean, looking at the back of the Hasbro Spider-Man 3, I mean, it's just a dodgy shape, the whole back. And yeah, this one looks a lot better. I really like the texturing as well that we can see in the black area. That we're used to in the 6-inch ToyBiz figures. Once again, they've not slacked. If we look at the legs and the sides here, we get that really nice texturing that we're used to on these ToyBiz movie figures. Chest logo looks great. Unfortunately, it is just lacking a bit of black paint there. I could maybe touch that up with a Sharpie, but with it being so small, I don't really want to risk smudging the rest of the costume, but maybe down the line. The arms I'm really impressed with. I did not expect any upper bicep swivel with 3.75 inch figures. Most of the ones I have, you've just got the single joint here, no wrist movement, no upper bicep swivel. But this gives us movement at the wrist. Nothing in the forearm. Yeah, nothing in the forearm. We do get a single joint at the elbow there and an upper bicep swivel. So I was blown away with the articulation on this, to be honest. You can get it in some really nice poses, especially with it being a smaller figure. Same articulation in this arm. Nothing in the chest area, which is unfortunate. Like an ab crunch would really put this figure to the next level. But, you know, I'll give it a pass with the articulation that we do have on a much smaller figure. The webbing is so crisp there. We can see it's slacking a wee bit, but once again, older figure, nothing that I wouldn't expect. The legs, just, you know, one single bit of articulation. There's no double jointed knees, but I wasn't expecting that. And there was no articulation up the top either, which was the first thing I noticed. Normally, these 6-inch ToyBiz figures have a ball joint at the top. Not all of them, but most of them, the magnetic one anyway. So yeah, I was like, that doesn't look right. But it's this cool wee 3.75 inch figure. You could definitely play like some drinking bingo games to the amount of words I'm going to be using in this video. 3.75, I think I've said a million times already. So we get the single jointed knee, and then you can also move it at the calf area here. And then once again, just the webbing on these boots is so clean. There's really not much bleeding over or anything. Looks so crisp. Get articulation in the foot there. There's no toe articulation and there's no pivot either, which is unfortunate, but, you know, I totally respect it. And we do get magnets at the bottom of the feet. So, man, this figure is incredible. And so there we have it for our Train Battle Playset Magnetic Spider-Man figure from ToyBiz. And this figure is amazing. I don't really have a lot of 3.75 inch figures in my collection. I'm not really planning on picking any more up, but when it's a character like this, one of my all-time favourite characters from one of my all-time favourite films, I had to pick him up, and I'm so glad that I have, because on this figure especially, got lots of articulation, the sculpt is great, they've not lacked on the details at all, and if you're a fan of the other ToyBiz Spider-Man movie figures, I highly recommend you keep your eye out for this guy right here. Let me know what you guys think of this figure down in the comments section below. Let me know if you have him, or let me know when was the last time you saw one pop up on eBay, because this is the first one I've ever seen, and I'm so glad I managed to get him for really cheap. Let me know down in the comments section, and while you're down there guys, if you could do me a massive favour, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, and if you could do me a massive favour and hit that like button as well. And feel free to hop on over to the channel page as well, because there are plenty of other videos of ToyBiz Spider-Man figures up on there, and I'll leave the link to my Instagram in the description below, so feel free to check that out as you please. With all that being said guys, thank you so much for watching this video right here, and as always, I'll catch yous on the flip flop later. Cheers.